get players. They didn't make it because they could not fill the seats. Period. That was it.
But if you look at Vince McMahon,
like, bro, with all the amount of football, like, I'm never gonna go see the LA team. Period. So there's already USC, there's already UCLA, and there's already the Chargers and the Rams.
There's high school football,
which are already having trouble selling their season tickets. So,
but can we?
What are you really gonna do
for a second? Yeah. Can we just be honest for a second? Y'all keep thinking this is about football. Like, bro, the WWE, the head of the WWE started a football league. And it's going to be based in wrestling. It's going to be scripted in some ways off the field like wrestling. That's what I'm telling you. That's what it was the last time.
But that's what he's saying he's not doing this time. He's gone on record saying he's not doing that this time.
How many times has Vince McMahon How many times has Vince McMahon lied?
They've all said. It's not even about Vince McMahon. It's the whole team, the whole investment group, all the different big heads they brought into it. Everybody said this is not the same XFL. They're completely changing it. The strategy's completely different. The marketing is going to be completely different. Everything's supposed to be different.
They're marketing like old school wrestling. Like they're marketing like how a wrestling would come to a town and sell out for a weekend and then leave. I feel like we're going to see some of that.
No, that doesn't really make sense.
Well, you can't market on a national level for the XFL for these markets. It's not going to work that way.
That's what I'm telling you. It's not going to work.
Some type of sleight of hand is going to happen because you can't tell me, and I agree with you, you can't tell me with the list you put out, like, this is what you're doing? Like, thankfully, you didn't have a team in Connecticut. I mean, that would have been smart, though, because UConn football is terrible. Like, and they're going back to the Big East, and no one wants to watch them. Like, at least have one in your home state, But, hey, I don't know. I don't see it really working.
And that's the other thing is, like, even what you're talking about in terms of, like, wrestling, I still would have even put more teams in the South if that's the market you're trying to hit, because that's where a lot of that demographic is.
I don't know who they're trying to hit with this.
That's what I'm saying. It's like because even the AAF put a team in Alabama which actually was the best team. Yeah, it did the best. So I think it's what you're saying. Like, yeah, it is probably Vince McMahon to an extent, but I think it's really just not really kind of being honest with yourself and not kind of really understanding what you're trying to do.
And it's going to be on Fox Sports. They have a stimulus package, bro. I wouldn't be surprised if it was XFL then NXT.
I already told you.
It might be the lead-in.
AAF already had that.
They didn't have NXT on TV. Do you know how big NXT is?
No, I know NXT's big. Like, it's what pays for their streaming. And that's why they're going to put that second largest streaming app behind Netflix.
They're going to put that on USA, and if they could find a way to put reruns on FX or through I don't know, XFL,
they wouldn't do that.
XFL and then SmackDown. Or SmackDown, and then the next day a SmackDown commercial about the XFL.
They wouldn't do that. USA's NBC.
Different. How would they draft players?
I don't know.
They've kind of had drafts and like they've gotten coaching staffs together, but it's been pretty quiet for the most part.
So are they able to?
Their social media team, I think they're still.
Well, they're not even launching till next year.
Yeah, they're still looking to hire people.
Oh, okay. So their plan is still in action, but question is, will they be able to have prospects from different colleges, or do they have to be like part of the NFL first, or like they have to have a party foul? They have to have a certain.
Hold on, wait.
It'll be a mix. It'll be college players who either want to play or get a bigger platform.
Canadian players, old players.
And it'll be like,
wouldn't it be smart to put instead of putting these big metropolitan places, put it in areas that there's like a lot of college players and good college players?
Yeah, so maybe that's what they're thinking, putting it in the coastal cities and the major markets. Maybe that's what they're trying to do, because that would make sense. You know, there's already a talent of LA here because there is 2 football teams. There's already a talent pool in New York. There's already a talent pool.
But
in
my
Texas.
question is, like, when it comes to like the collegiate like championships and whatnot, what
they can't compete with college football. They can't compete with.
But
probably
what
some high
teams
school
usually
programs.
get to the playoffs and the Rose Bowl and whatnot?
Well, for college football, it's a little bit different. It's usually the Alabamas, Clemson, Ohio State, Oklahoma. Those are usually going to be the 4 teams. Big programs. Texas kind of made a resurgence, so I think they're ranked 6 in the preseason poll. There's Georgia. Pretty much it's SEC, like 2 Big 12 schools. Nobody in the Pac-12, because the Pac-12 arguably is the toughest conference because they cannibalize each other every week. But they don't have like anybody elite who can beat like the higher upper echelon teams. And then you have Clemson, who is the best team in the ACC. What the?
Continue.
I'm mad that goes really well with it. But anyway, so you have Michigan, you have the Big Ten schools that are making a push. I hate you so much that this actually goes well with what I'm saying. But when it comes to college football, a lot of those cats aren't going to make it pro. Like less than 1% of athletes actually make it pro anyway. So pretty much the talent pool isn't an issue. You can get talent anywhere.
You really playing this throughout the whole time he's talking, huh?
Yeah, because I'm trying to give him the current call because we already spent 20 minutes on this bum ass topic.
Say something that wasn't even my topic. You made the rundown.
I know, but I'm just saying I wasn't expecting you to give a history of college football along with that.
She wanted to know.
I was just asking, like, how would it work, and wouldn't it make sense to put in those places where all those?
It doesn't make sense. Bottom line,
It doesn't. We'll find out in a year if it's work or trash. Vince McMahon's playing with a lot of money, and who knows. But that's why WWE workers don't have insurance and are on pretty much contract. But that's a whole nother issue.
Next topic, man. We got some more AB news. So Antonio Brown finally returns to training camp after this whole helmet debacle. Essentially, dude pretty much was suing the NFL for making him upgrade his helmet, essentially saying, well, you gave Brady, you gave Rodgers like a year window before they had to upgrade their helmet. My helmet isn't technically on the ban list. It's just outside of the window of helmets that are approved.
It's an anomaly.
So that was pretty much a loophole he was looking for. That's why he was looking for the exact helmet that he had, but in a newer edition. But then the NFL
close that
loophole by testing all the helmets, all the versions of that helmet that have been made, and it basically failed. It's one of the worst helmets, and banned that helmet. So now Brown returned to practice with a regular sanctioned approved helmet, but he's still appealing the judge's rule because he's essentially saying, well, the NFL, one, they didn't give me the same year notice that they gave Brady and Rodgers, and two, they expedited this process of revealing this helmet to specifically target me. So, yeah, pretty much it's more AB shit. So, really, my biggest question was, and Mike Freeman talked about it in his column, is this sort of thing going to cost AB his Hall of Fame?
There's already a log jam, and they don't want to put receivers in.
Okay, from this generation, where's the log jam? Larry Fitzgerald?
Larry Fitzgerald is not this generation.
But that's what I'm saying is people who are going to retire around the same time as Antonio Brown, who? There's nobody.
There's him. I think Reggie Wayne and Larry Fitzgerald are the same era, if that makes sense.
No, because Reggie Wayne retired 3 years ago.
I'm talking about the year they came into the league, not when they retired.
But the year that retire matters because of Hall of Fame voting. Well, it's all about timing.
I get that, but I'm saying if you look at an Isaac Bruce and a Torrey Holt, they are Hall of Famers.
Yeah, but because of the logjam.
That's
and
what I'm
also
saying.
Because they played on the same team
Larry
in the same
Fitzgerald
era.
Isn't in that logjam.
And
he's going to get pushed to the
era.
front of the line.
And they're in that same era.
Andre Johnson,
Andre
Brown,
Johnson and Reggie Wayne are the same era, the same time they retired.
Technically, but I think Reggie Wayne gets the nod because he has a ring.
Those two guys are gonna have to figure it out.
He gets a ring. They're gonna give him the nod.
They're gonna be in the Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt situation.
You know, they both played at Miami together. That's crazy.
So, but I'm saying by then, let's assume
Hines
Antonio Brown plays another 3 years.
Those three guys. See, it depends though. Does he have 10 plus? Does he get to 90 touchdown catches or 100 touchdown catches?
They were saying he already has more receiving yards than like 2 Hall of Fame receivers.
Yeah.
And if he has 2 more 2,000 yards, I think he's like in the top 10 for receiving yards or something like that.
Yeah.
So
he's had 5 1,200 receiving yard seasons.
Yeah.
Which is like unheard of. But again, the media likes to paint certain people in a negative light, and I think if it was only based on stats and what you did on the field, he and a lot of other people would be in.
I agree to what you're saying to an extent.
That's why I feel like a lot of people don't deserve Hall of Fame votes, because I don't care what he... Like, you could say all you want about OJ, but was he a Hall of Famer on the field? Yes. Boom. You could be a shit person once you leave your job, but are you the best at your job?
So Darren Sharper's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he is. He's an NFL Hall of Famer by what he did on the field. Now, everything he did off the field, horrible person. But technically, like, there are wife beaters and racists and all types of crazy shit in all these different Hall of Fames. Baseball, everywhere else, they say it. Other people in the hall have said it. So I'm supposed to sit up here and just pretend like, okay, because you don't like Antonio Brown, he can't get in the Hall of Fame. You're going to create a narrative in that room.
I agree with what you're saying, but you can't say it's a created narrative because Brown is driving his own narrative.
Okay,
and he pushes it out on social media.
Brown is not making it easy for himself.
He's not only not making it easy for himself, but he's asking for it, and he does a lot of shit that's like,
okay, let me ask you.
Why are you doing that locker room thing?
Let me ask you something. With all those rape allegations around Big Ben, does he get in the Hall of Fame? People don't even talk about those rape allegations.
I mean,
and arguably, if we found out what he did, he probably would have. If he was anybody else, if he was any other skin color,
I mean, that was like what, his 3rd year, 4th year?
Nah, that was like after the first Super Bowl.
So what, his 2nd year?
No, this was like probably close, either between his 5th and 7th year.
You just said after the first Super Bowl.
Yeah,
he won a Super Bowl his rookie year.
Yeah, way after the first Super Bowl, before the second one.
He won a second one in like his 4th year.
No, he didn't.
He won one.
He won one. He lost to Aaron Rodgers.
Oh yeah, that was like his 4th
2010.
Year. That was like his 4th
year.
Was
2010 was his last Super Bowl appearance.
Okay, so 7 years.
So he won 2 before 2010. He won 2.
So when were the allegations?
The allegations were sometime in there. Okay. It was far enough away from the first. It was.
I think that's closer to Kobe than like Darren Sharper.
No, I mean, I get what you're saying.
I feel like that's closer to Kobe.
I'm not comparing Big Ben and Darren Sharper at all, but I'm saying the fact that you paid off the 2 women and you settled out of court, and that's why they didn't say anything when it was proven that you did something wrong in that bathroom, and then everybody gave Michael Vick shit. And then acted like you were the best person ever. When people who've played with you have come out and said, like, yeah, it's some good old boy shit, and they treat Big Ben like he's at the top of the pyramid, that's not going to come up in Hall of Fame voting. He's going to get pushed right through the door. And you know it, I know it, everybody knows it. We just pretend.
Well, he might not, because
if Big Ben was black, I'm telling you,
he might
anything
not.
But a white male and a quarterback with his numbers, it will be a different narrative.
He might not, because he's going to be going against Phillip Rivers and Eli Manning.
Phillip Rivers don't have a championship.
Well, and Eli probably gets in before him.
Eli gets in because he's a Manning, he's royalty, and he beat Tom Brady twice
before him. So It just depends. He might not get first ballot.
Even if he doesn't